Good morning, traders. Another episode of GreenSpud Trades here. We got an action-packed week ahead in the stock market, and I want to highlight a few things that I got my eye on. The first thing I want to talk about is that on Friday we had this nasty-looking candle where the market seemed like it was going to bounce off of this retracement from the high, and then it pulled back right below where it initially opened. I think this is somewhat of a bearish look, but we'll really know on Monday when we confirm. However, I'm taking somewhat of a bearish bias coming into the week because we have a lot of uncertainty up ahead. First of all, we've got the US presidential election of Trump versus Kamala Harris. That is on Tuesday.
It's tough out here with all these Kamala freaks.
Trump, you're such a sick freak.
But if it's a very contentious, close election, we may not have the result until later in the week after the recounts are done. Even if we have the election outcome decided on Tuesday night, we still have more uncertainty in the market on the way because on Thursday we have the FOMC interest rate decision meeting. Consensus says that the Fed will cut a quarter point, bringing the Fed's funds rate down to 4.75%. And speaking of interest rates, what the heck is going on with the 10-year yield? The Fed cut 50 basis points at the last FOMC meeting, and then the 10-year yield and the long end of the curve started to flatten. If we do a comparison of interest rates from before and after the FOMC meeting, we have this big change here with the long end of the curve moving up, making kind of a bear steepener. This has really pummeled the TLT ETF, which invests in 20-year treasury bonds. A lot of people were fooled by this trade, thinking that when the Fed starts cutting interest rates that the long end of the curve will move down accordingly, but that's not what happened. The opposite happened in that long-term rates started to move up, probably anticipating future inflation as a result of the cuts being premature and overstimulating the US economy. Even my own trade, which I was holding at a cost basis of about 96, is now underwater at this level. But the pain might just be beginning for bonds. Does anyone else looking at this chart pattern think this looks kind of like a bull flag for the interest rate? Don't forget, interest rates are inversely correlated to the price of bonds, which is why TLT is going down as the long-term interest rates are moving higher. Next week is also packed with earnings releases. Some of the stocks that are most interesting to me is on Monday we have PLTR, which has had a huge run up lately, but I think this stock looks a little bit overextended and might pull back if the earnings disappoint in any way. Realty Income, which will probably give us a pulse on commercial real estate. Zillow, very important to the housing market. Also note the very interesting technical setup that we got right here, a breakout with a potential bull flag. Airbnb reports. Jack Dorsey's Square. Note how it's been coming above the 200-day moving average with the 50-day moving average curling up with it. This one is a potential breakout. Qualcomm, another very critical semiconductor stock, but it seems to be breaking its uptrend. Arista Networks, Datadog, Expedia, but there are many others reporting. I want to point out that some of these semiconductor tech stocks, when they reported earnings, they pulled back some. AMD, a notable pullback. Amazon looked like it was going to break out to the highs, but then kind of had some failed momentum midday. This one, the jury is still out on. It could pull back to this downtrend line area right here and then move its way up. But we'll just have to see how it goes and how the rest of the market goes. And also Microsoft, with disappointing growth in the cloud services area. This stock pulled back hard all the way down to its support zone. Might be a long-term buying opportunity, but it kind of shows you the sentiment right now that there's a lot of failed momentum out there. So it's going to be a volatile week, probably a lot of great trades for scalpers out there. Trade safe, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this to promote my channel. Good luck trading, everybody.